Hello everyone, Mark Abbott from your Engineering Change Lab Secretariat here. In this, our third of 4 videos, we're going to talk about extensions and refinements to our lab approach. So as you recall at the Engineering Change Lab, our overall sort of broad mandate was around unlocking the higher potential of the engineering profession in Canada. Now 14 months in, we've learned a lot about what's required and how to go about it. So what I'm going to talk about now is basically building on the 4 kind of key outcomes that we've had right from the beginning, which are inherent in the lab approach. So the deep and shared understanding, the relationships, the new ways of working, and the initiatives. And I'm going to quickly go through a summary of how we have been working in each of those outcome areas and what's the refinement or extension we're talking about. So first on deep and shared understanding. Up to this point, we've been using our deep and shared understanding to broadly inform our portfolios, and we produce mostly informal output. So think about the first day of the lab workshops and some of the things I've created and reflected back to capture our thinking. And where we want to go to is to actually have tighter links to our portfolio, more polished output, and to shape a broader dialogue even outside of the lab. So this tighter links to the portfolio, in the second video we introduced some new ideas about thinking about our objective and how to frame it. The idea is to connect that thinking to what we've been building from the ground up with our initiatives and our subsystem analyses. And by creating more polished output, we can actually go beyond the lab and shape conversation out within the profession more broadly. And we believe that that's actually going to drive change in and of itself, having that conversation and hosting it. Second, we have on relationships. So far, I think we've been doing a great job of building relationships within the core network of 40+ organizations. Again, lots of great feedback there. And we're seeing evidence of ripple effects where people are taking thinking from the lab and bringing it back to their organizations, which has been kind of a more of a diffusive process. Where we want to go to is to keep our network, our strong network, as a catalyst, but think about this concept of building a movement. So some of you will remember from the last workshop, I shared a quote from Al Adamansky from Impact. Movements help us pay attention to what else is going on. They connect the dots, they inform our actions, they encourage us to look up from our day-to-day individual and org priorities and to link our efforts. So the idea here is that there's already individuals across Canada who are living this new, leaning into this new future for the engineering profession, or really wanting to go there. And by actually linking and creating a language and creating connections, we can build a movement together. And also getting more intentional about sort of an influence agenda. So how can we actually bring this thinking back to our organizations and have it influence strategy and policy and whatnot? In terms of new ways of working, again, we've been at each workshop and in between introducing new frameworks like Lean and Iceberg Model and different approaches to working collaboratively, systemically, and experimentally. We believe in this next stage to continue building that capacity within the network, but also to try and get that capacity out into the broader profession through the movement as well, because these ways of working in complexity are actually going to be part of we think the future of the engineering profession as well. And so finally on the initiatives, up to this point, they've been very lab driven. The ideas came out of the initiatives after we do our deep and shared understanding work. On the first day, we progress a portfolio of initiatives that were hatched from within and are kind of people's volunteer time from the lab participants to drive forward. We're going to continue to work on our portfolio of initiatives. We think that they line up really well with the big picture thinking that's been emerging. But increasingly, as we move forward, thinking about how we can shift from less of a lab-driven to a lab-supported model. Make sure that we have entrepreneurs, organizations, groups of organizations who are prepared to really commit to drive these initiatives forward so that we can actually engage and leverage the more broader contributions of everyone else in the lab. So basically, this is a quick snapshot of the from and to and some of the logic of why we think we need to go there. In the next video, what we'll go through is more implications for you as an individual lab participant, for your initiatives, and for the broader lab on these refinements and extensions of our approach.